And welcome back to another episode of The Credit Authority. Once again, I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and I am so glad that you tuned in today. Before we start our segment, we always want to thank our sponsor. Thank you so much to Equity First. If you are experiencing credit and or financial challenges for either yourself or your business, feel free to reach out to any one of their trained professionals. They are bilingual, nationwide, and waiting for your call. They could be reached at 631-714-4822. And now that we got that out of the way, we are with our final guest today, my friend Steve Spurgeon of the Boss Group. How are you?
I'm great, Rhonda. How are you?
So you were my savior last week because you run the most fantastic group. I could say that because over the years I've attended and or belonged to a lot of organizations that are on Long Island. And I made the mistake of forgetting to actually book my show. And I called you in a 911 and I said, Steve, you have amazing people that are in your group. Please, can you grab me 4 guests? So thank you. They were all fantastic.
Well, thank you. I think that the people in my group happen to be the best at what they do in all of their various fields.
So let's just let's start with this. So the Boss Group is not your typical business organization. And I know you were saying, look, I don't want to be identified as a networking group, sort of like my profession. I don't want to be recognized as credit repair because I'm a consultant, I'm a professional. So let's break down what Boss is and what separates you compared to some of the other organizations.
Well, that's absolutely right, and thank you for bringing that up. So Boss is a full business building opportunity for companies that work on commercial buildings. So what we do in order to build their business is we take a 3-pronged approach. The first one is a marketing approach. We started out this organization 18 years ago, and at the time we did traditional marketing, which would be newspapers and things of that nature, Long Island Business News, New York Real Estate Journal. Over the years, it's evolved into strictly social media and online marketing. So we have our own YouTube channel. What we do is we interview our members, we do YouTube videos, we put them up online, we do social media as a group, and also we help enhance their social media by reposting a lot of what they do. So we have a social media and a marketing facet for them. And then in addition to that, we have a networking facet, which is a lot more hands-on than your typical networking group that might just meet once a month. We have our members-only meetings. We have our general meetings, which guests are allowed at. And then we also have things like networking lunches where our group just gets together and we don't talk about business at all. We might spend the whole thing talking about, a kid's softball league, or we might be talking about, going out boating or, golfing or something of that nature. The idea is to get them to really become friends and like each other, because we understand that you do business with people you really like and people you trust. And when you have a trust with someone, it makes it a lot easier for you to open up your portfolio and say, hey, you know what? I understand this person now. I know them. I get their business, but I trust them as a person and I know they're going to come through for me because this is my friend. So your friend is never going to let you down. And that's the premise of our networking facet. In addition to that, the third prong is we bring in some of the best and largest developers in the tri-state area to come in and speak to our group. We've had RXR, we've had B2K, we've had TriTech come in. We're booked to have Cushman Wakefield coming in later in the year. In addition, we have other speakers. In July, we have John Pelletieri, who is the preeminent business developer for the burgeoning cannabis business in New York State. And We're not really worried about the product. We are more concerned with the fact that all these companies need buildings to be in. So they need everything from an architect to an interior designer to security, both cameras and physical security guards. They're going to need HVAC systems, roofers, everything that we can provide for them. And someone who's setting up a business doesn't have access to these trades, and we can provide that for them.
I love it. And I think so many things that you just said are so important, which number one, you're right. People want to work with somebody that they trust. Ironically, I get together every Tuesday morning with a handful of what we call it a friends group. Mm-hmm. And we call it a friends group because when you're networking, there's no guarantee that you're going to make that connection. But when you have a friend, it's somebody that you can trust. And more importantly, if you sent me a referral, you're not disappearing out of my life. I have an obligation to you as my friend to make sure that I represent you, not just myself.
Right. When we talk to the members, one of the things we've actually done in the past is gone over almost a 10-point sheet, which is a questionnaire which says, are you referable? Do you follow up with the referrer? What questions do you ask? Do you make sure that you present yourself in the best light, but not just yourself? Do you present the person who referred you in the best light? Do you thank the person who referred you? Right? Do you make sure that they're aware that you got the business or that you didn't get the business? And if you didn't get the business, why didn't you get the business? Because one of the things that people don't realize is sometimes the person who's referring you doesn't understand, though. They're not aware that you didn't get the business or that you don't think you got the business. You might talk to them and they might go back and say something else on your behalf, and suddenly you will have the business. So there's a whole art form to referring people and networking with people at a level that other people just don't understand.
And I think some of it comes with experience and some of it comes with belonging to other organizations that are not pushing, right? They're not pushing for the same goal. A lot of places are just about collecting fees and building membership. They're not looking at building quality.
Well, the difference really comes down, in my mind, to two things. It's either people walk in with a headset of being transactional or relationship. And a relationship is all important in today's world, because you have to have a relationship with someone before you're going to get business referred to you. If you come in with a transaction, you may get a piece of business, but after that, it's gone, and you're going from person to person to person trying to build a business. That's no way to build a business, especially when you're talking about the quality and the type of companies that we're talking about. If I'm bringing in a company like Fairfield to talk to you, all right, they don't want someone who's going to come in, fix something at their place and walk away. They want someone who's going to come in and be there for them all the time. A good example is a company like A+ Technology and Security. They come in, they don't just go in and do one security camera in one building. They'll come in and they do all the security cameras in all of their buildings. And if there's a problem, they're there to service those cameras 24/7. All right, and that's the way it is with all their customers, and that's the way all my boss members are with all of their customers, and they work together. We had a perfect example. Our cleaning company called me up just yesterday. There was a fire in one of the buildings that they clean. They called me up and they said, we got to get our restoration company over there. They called me, I called the restoration company. Within 5 minutes, the restoration company called the cleaning company, got over to the building, right? Now I know that that's going on. We have plenty of other things that we could refer in there to help them.
I love it. So if somebody was a industry business professional, how do they get in contact with you to learn more about Boss?
They can email me at Stephen, STEPHEN, at the, THE, B2B, the number 2, Boss. Stephen at theb2bboss.com.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, being my savior for last week. Today, you were my final guest, so stay tuned and we'll bring you more content next week.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.